Welcome to the deep dive. Get ready, because today we're diving headfirst into a stack of truly intriguing sources, all focused on one of Earth's most mysterious places, Antarctica. But look, this isn't your typical look at penguins and ice sheets. Oh no. We're uncovering a wild blend of strange, unconfirmed whispers and, well, truly bizarre yet scientifically proven expeditions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our mission today is really to dig into these sources, pull out the most important nuggets, and
Yeah.
help you navigate some truly unusual information. We want to figure out what's genuinely fascinating,
Yeah.
what just seems strange. And our sources today, they bring us two very distinct things. One, an incredible unverified rumor, and two, a peculiar scientific quest that will, absolutely lead us into some high-octane speculation later on.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're going to start with what one source calls an unsubstantiated but definitely interesting rumor.
Yeah.
It's all about this completely unprecedented collection of high-profile figures, supposedly heading down to Antarctica. And the core idea, it's simple, really. If this was just about natural resources, oil, minerals, whatever, you'd send engineers, geologists, oil execs, right? But what this rumor claims we're seeing instead is politicians and high-profile people.
Yeah, exactly. Not the resource extraction crews.
And when you hear who is supposedly on this list, well, prepare to have your assumptions just completely upended. It's a roster so diverse, so historically significant, you immediately think, what on earth could possibly unite these individuals? Maybe you can walk us through this genuinely baffling list.
Well, it is quite staggering. I mean, get this, the names include N. Gingrich, Rudolf Hess, who, was a Reichsleiter in the Nazi Party until 41, Hermann Goring, founder of the Luftwaffe and Gestapo, then completely different direction, Richard Byrd, the American admiral, the Arctic explorer, King Juan Carlos of Spain, Prince Harry, Buzz Aldrin, an Apollo 11 astronaut, John Kerry, chief U.S. diplomat under Obama, and even the Patriarch of Moscow, head of the Russian Orthodox Church.
Wow.
It's not just a strange collection. It feels like some kind of strategic mosaic, doesn't it? Hessen going alongside Buzz Aldrin and Prince Harry. It forces you to look beyond the easy answers like, oh, it's climate research.
Right. That doesn't track at all with that group.
Exactly. What unifying, profound, maybe even secret global agenda could possibly bring together people from militaries, intelligence, royalty, space programs, major religions? I mean, the sheer breadth of influence there suggests something far bigger than any, public initiative we know about.
Yeah, it certainly does. But okay, let me push back a bit. Couldn't the fact that it is unverified and the sort of fantasy league quality of these names, couldn't that be the point? Maybe it's designed to distract or just, spread sensationalism.
That's a very astute point, absolutely. The lack of verification, it demands skepticism, of course it does. But even so, the choice of names for such a rumor, that's fascinating in itself. It sort of suggests an underlying fascination, maybe with power, hidden knowledge, agendas that go way beyond typical politics or economics. It hints at some kind of shared, maybe unspoken, global concern that would need such an unusual gathering, if it were true, of course.
Okay, fascinating. So we've explored this truly wild, unconfirmed report, but now let's switch gears. Let's move to something much more concrete. We do have clear information that British scientists are indeed heading to Antarctica. And what they're looking for, well, it's likely to surprise you too. The headline from one of our sources puts it right out there. Frozen in time, British scientists to lead hunt for fragments of dead planets hidden in Antarctica. This expedition, led by a mathematician, Dr. Geoffrey Yvette, was planned for 2020.
Right. And the stated scientific reason is quite specific. Dr. Yvette believes Antarctica could be hiding vast numbers of missing iron meteorites. The main goal, officially, to decode the origins of the solar system and cement the UK as a leader in meteoritics and planetary science. Basically, they're hunting for pieces of the early solar system perfectly preserved in the ice down there to get fundamental clues about how our whole cosmic neighborhood formed.
Yes, and our source couldn't resist a little subtle jab there, asking, what, you mean the United Kingdom is not already a leader in meteoritics?
Yeah.
Which, just highlights how unexpected this specific scientific focus is. It's definitely not your everyday research grant topic.
No, it certainly isn't.
But here's the really tantalizing question, right? Are these two things, the wild rumor and the concrete science, are they somehow connected? Because this is where our deep dive really enters, let's call it high-octane speculation territory. This hunt for meteorites, It could potentially align perfectly with a very specific and pretty dramatic astronomical theory. We're talking about that old idea, late 18th, early 19th century, that the asteroid belt, that big band of rocks between Mars and Jupiter, that it's actually the leftover bits of an exploded planet. In this theory, it was famously revived more recently by the late U.S. naval astronomer Dr. Tom Van Flandern.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Dr. Van Flandern, in his work, he really dug into why. Why might that missing planet have just suddenly, catastrophically ceased to exist? He first looked at natural models, like maybe a natural fission reactor deep in the planet's core went critical, but he mostly dismissed that, mainly due to the sheer scale needed. It just seemed unlikely. Then he thought about, well, maybe a massive buildup of antimatter in the core, contained somehow for a while until containment failed. Boom, contact with matter. But he found that problematic too. The physics are tricky, how matter and antimatter interact, how you naturally contain it on that scale and then have it fail. It's complex.
Right. Sounds pretty far-fetched for a natural event.
He does. So
Yeah.
reluctantly, Van Flandern started considering a technological accident. Picture this, right? A civilization pushing boundaries. Maybe they, as a source cheekily put it, built their planet-sized collider just a little too big. Or, some fundamental physics experiment just went catastrophically wrong, unleashed unimaginable energy. But then he landed on his most provocative idea, the one that really shifts the whole paradigm. He proposed the planet was destroyed not by accident, not by nature, but by deliberate action, an act of war.
Whoa. Okay, active war. That's where it gets really interesting. Because if a planet was actually blown up in an act of war, that implies some profound things, doesn't it? It means there was intelligent life on that planet, for starters.
Mm-hmm.
It means that planet was a belligerent in that war.
Mm-hmm.
And it implies they had a similar pitch of technological and war-making capability to whatever destroyed them, or to be destroyed like that. That is a truly mind-bending thought to wrestle with.
And that's the critical potential link back to that British expedition. If, and it's a big if, but if a planet was destroyed by advanced technology, it implies that, quote, some sliver or slivers of that technology might have survived to be recognizable and recoverable in meteorites. So this raises a crucial question for us. If that theory holds any water, what else could these fragments tell us? Are we just talking about, unusual isotopes or alloys? Or could we be talking about something far more structured, more advanced? What kind of cosmic detective work might really be happening under all that Antarctic ice?
So, okay, let's wrap this up for you, the listener. Where have we been today? We've journeyed from this unconfirmed, pretty wild rumor about this bizarre gathering of global power players supposedly meeting in Antarctica, all the way to a concrete scientific search for cosmic debris, literal fragments of planets deep beneath the ice, and it's all potentially linked to this truly mind-bending theory of planetary destruction. An ancient war, maybe. It's a vast range of possibilities to even consider.
It really is. And it leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? When we search for the origins of our solar system, this kind of deep dive shows us maybe we're not just looking for natural phenomena. Could we also be finding faint echoes of ancient cosmic conflicts? Evidence of technologies far beyond anything we currently understand, perhaps even remnants left behind by a losing side in some catastrophic planetary war. What if the universe has a history that's far more complex, maybe far more dramatic than we currently imagine?
It certainly makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other mysteries might be hidden? Maybe in plain sight, maybe deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Definitely something to ponder. Keep digging, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.